Hello again, and welcome back to Robbie's Kitchen. Tonight we've got a special treat. We're gonna make some mini slider burgers. And as usual, we're gonna go over the ingredients list here. Again, I think all of this together was probably under 20 bucks, but this will feed you multiple times, and these burgers do reheat very nicely. So let's go ahead and go over our ingredient list. So as you can see here, we've got some fancy romaine lettuce. It was actually the same price as iceberg for once, because normally I don't buy this stuff. It's kind of on the expensive side, but if it's the same price as the iceberg, might as well get it. It looks fancier for sure. Then we've got our fancy ground beef. This is 96% lean and 4% fat. Again, this was just about the same price as the cheaper, fattier meat. We've got our pickles. Now you say, why am I holding the pickle jar sideways? So if you put the pickle jar like this, if you notice, the water level goes only about halfway up and you've got exposed pickles. But the jar is sealed, it does its job. And now if you look, all of the pickles are submerged in the liquid and you don't have to worry about your pickles drying out. So moving along, we've got our thinly sliced Sargento cheddar, perfect for a burger, some grape tomatoes, and the most important ingredient, well, not the most important ingredient, I guess the hamburger would be the most important ingredient, but some sweet dinner rolls, the kind of Hawaiian style, but they've got a good flavor. This is the brand is Martin's sweet dinner potato rolls. And they're about that big. They're a nice size for a slider bun. I got plenty of them in there. Very fresh. Everything was purchased yesterday. I've also got a special pan that I'm going to show you real quick. Another recent acquisition. The Robbie Indoor Grilling Pan. Now, some people might say this is just a regular cookie sheet. This is not just a regular cookie sheet. This is not an idea that I just came up with yesterday. This is the patented Robbie grilling, what did I say it was called? It's perfect for cooking burgers on the grill or indoors. So notice the only difference between this and a normal cookie sheet is the little hole that I have drilled here. I'm gonna show you what this is for here in a minute once we set it atop the flame. We also have over here our bun warmer. So we have used this for many things, for cooking bacon. It does a great job for cooking bacon, for cooking our BLTs and kind of getting everything hot in the middle and toasting the bread. It's good for grilled cheeses, but it's also good for if you just put them little potato rolls right before you're gonna eat them in here, put one on this side, one on this side, put it down, count to 10. You have a nice, warm, slightly toasted sweet potato roll. So that's our ingredient list. As far as what we're going to use to spice up the hamburger meat, we're going to use some salt and pepper. And another handy gadget that I have in my kitchen that we're going to use tonight is the thing that I didn't get out yet. The hamburger press. Now, there's a couple more ingredients that I don't have out yet that I'm going to mention real quick. So here's your little hamburger press. You take the top off, and there's these little plastic discs that you would put your layers of burger in. So it comes with a bunch of discs, and what happens when you're ready to grill, you just pop this thing out, and you sit it down. You got one layer at a time for your grilling. If you notice, my hands are not the cleanest tonight, but I have already washed them. I did a little bit of roof work with some tar today, so don't mind it. They're clean. I washed them. We're going to sit these back in here. Actually, I'm going to leave them out. And another secret, when you're making your hamburger patties, we're going to use, so we got about a pound of hamburger, just about a pound of hamburger here. I'm going to take one egg. I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to get my salt and pepper. I'm going to just barely put a little bit of salt and pepper in there. I got a nice bowl here we're going to do this in. Somewhere there's a bowl we're going to do this in. But once I mix it up, then I'm gonna put it in my little hamburger press. I'm gonna smash them down nice and thin, and I'm gonna put them in the fridge for about 15 minutes and let them get a little bit cold so that they will cook easier. That is a hidden secret. So we've gone over our tips and tricks. We've gone over the ingredient list. If you're going shopping, go ahead and get your stuff and we'll get to prepping. We will do our vegetables first, so I'll be right back. All right, welcome back, viewers. So I'm over here by the kitchen side. I've got my cutting plate and my finishing plate, and we're gonna work on these tomatoes first. Now, I like the flavor of these little grape tomatoes on a burger, but you gotta put a little bit of work into them. So, whereas most restaurants will take a full size, big old tomato and slice it up thin, I'm gonna take little tomatoes and slice them up even thinner. So I like to do this the long way. So I'll take my tomato and I'll just kind of go back and down, Hope, down. And I go down it again. Pretty much you're treating it just like it's a big tomato, but you gotta be really careful and have a nice sharp knife. And you just kind of go back and forth till you feel it cutting into the tomato. Then you can back your fingers off a little bit. You won't see anybody cutting these things super fast. And you don't get a lot of you only get 4 slices of tomato per tomato. But you only need 2 on the little slider burger. So we're gonna get us about 3 tomatoes. So again, I'm just real slow, cutting right along the edge. Real slow. And like I said, it's okay if you go where your fingers are at, but you want to go just slow enough to where when it catches into the tomato, you back your fingers off. And then for that last slice, you got to be really careful, but it'll catch. And you're just real slow until it gets into the skin. You'll feel it if you got a sharp knife. And then you cut it good. There we go. So we got a 4th. Actually, I got 5 out of that one. Not bad. Not bad at all. I'll put those over there. We'll get 1 more. The key with the burger is not to have any one overwhelming flavor. You want to have a combination, a medley. I had to look that definition up in a minute, but you want to have a perfect balance, a combination of flavors. I think pizza's the same way. I think spaghetti's the same way. Burgers especially. You don't want to have a big old hunk of beef unless the beef is really tasty. No, the burger is the burger because it's got a combination of things in it. You've got cheese, you've got veggies. You don't want to have too many veggies because then it becomes a veggie burger and we don't eat that stuff. I mean, we do, but if it's called a veggie burger, I ain't touching it. So anyway, we just kind of cut it nice and easy. The number 1 concern is you don't want to chop your finger off. That's important. This one's a little bit too big to mess with, so I'm going to taste test our tomato. Very tasty. These are at the peak of their ripeness. I might eat 1 more in a second, just plain. There we go, nice and thin, nice and thin. Nice and slow and nice and thin. You're in no rush, we have all night. Let's see, what time is it? Yeah, it might have took me about 3 minutes to cut the tomatoes. So now we got our romaine lettuce. It looks like a little Valentine's Day thing. I'm gonna have to go back to Food Line and buy one of these for a special lady. Get her a bouquet of romaine lettuce with some ranch dressing and all the sides. So I don't really know how to get at this. I'm just going to tear off a little bit of it in there and get a couple of leaves. I don't need much. I'll just throw that in there. Throw that in there. It's not going to be as pretty anymore, but I didn't want to break the whole plastic thing either. Maybe this is the way to do it. So we'll put that down. I don't think we need much. I mean, ideally, these little leaflets are probably all that we need. But being that we're a fancy restaurant here, we're going to stack it up and cut it in half. There we go. So now we got some little leaflets to put there for our slider burgers. These are already about the right size. That's about the right size. And I tell you what we can do. These leftovers are the same ingredients for tacos. So I could make some tacos another night this week. I've been waiting to do a special edition on chicken, using chicken, and I have not got around to doing it yet, but it's coming. And since I'm famished, I'm gonna have one more tomato because these are pretty good. I can't wait for summer. I'll get my tomatoes going. So there we go. Under 5 minutes, our lettuce and tomato is prepared. I'm gonna put some saran wrap on top of that, put it in the fridge while we cook everything else. These tomatoes are good. I don't know where they came from. They didn't come from North Carolina. All right, we're back again. So here's our beautiful ground beef, our little device that we're gonna use to store it for a few minutes and let it get cold again. I mean, it is still cold. I mean, yeah, it's still cold. It's pretty fresh out the fridge. I've got my egg. I was forced to buy these expensive free-range chicken eggs because the stores are completely out of eggs of the cheap variety. So these are organic free-range chicken eggs. So again, normally I would pay maybe $1.50 for a dozen eggs. These are like $6 for a dozen. And to be honest, they taste exactly the same as a regular egg. This is foolishness. Now, somewhere in your local community, there's probably a farmer that's been selling eggs for $1 a dozen because eggs are plentiful. This is some foolishness going on. But anyway, let's get back to cooking. So we're gonna go ahead and crack our egg. Unfortunately, I don't have a clean or quick way to do this. I just kind of go on the shorter end of the oval egg, right about 3/4 up from the bottom is where I try to hit it. And it's better to try to tap a little bit. You just go ahead and hit it and crack it. And then bust it right open. Now, you can see I made a big mess. There's small little chips everywhere. Peel it, put it to the side, and let's go ahead and throw this in the garbage. Yep, I made a mess. Technically, you're only supposed to use the egg yolk, the egg white, and I made a mess. But egg is egg. So we're gonna mix it up. We're gonna get it all up into the egg. We're just gonna roll it around a little bit. And at this point, I just realized I forgot to put the salt and pepper on, which isn't really important because from my history of making burgers at fine establishments like Wendy's, they actually start with just raw hamburger meat. They don't use egg. They don't use salt and pepper until it gets to the grill. They don't use any special blend of herbs and spices. All they do is just hamburger. That's all it is just hamburger. Now this don't look like much, but in a few minutes this is gonna be a delicious burger. Well, several delicious burgers. I just gotta make sure that Hope doesn't get into it because she is certainly paying a lot of attention to it right now. I'll put that over there. I got a little eggshell on it. There we go. We got the eggshell out. So again, I make sure I got a good coating of egg all around the burger and keep it together. And here we go. So we're gonna grab our first little thingamajiggy. We drop it in. We'll get about a small, maybe slightly larger than a ping pong ball. Make sure it's got a nice coating of egg on it. And we drop it in right about in the middle of that thing. Then we're gonna put another disc right on top of it and press it down slightly, not hard. We get another ping pong ball size thingamajiggy. Let me put a little bit more on this one, just a little bit. Yep, that's looking good. Pack it in there. Now we're gonna set it right in the middle. And we put the next layer on and we press it down. And again, you don't gotta press it too hard. We'll actually do the mashing on the grill because that's another secret of the grill. You don't want a thick burger. It's all about balance. Some people like a thick burger. I do not. And especially for a slider, you can't really have a thick burger. So this is all sticking together pretty well. I mean, like I said, there's not a lot of fat. So I'm gonna stick that in there. We'll grab another one and press it down ever so slightly. Grab another little bit. It looks gross because it's not cooked, but I wanted to show you every step of the way. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the delicious. The delicious is coming, trust me. So again, we got another one. We'll put that right there. And in it goes. Press her down. Put a little bit more in there. There we go, and you just roll it up like a ball, kind of like a snowball. Squeeze it, press it, get it in the shape of a ball. Don't worry about your hands because we're gonna wash them here in a minute. This is one of the things where you just wash your hands over and over again, unless you really like having raw egg and hamburger all over them. Which, again, I would highly recommend that you wash your hands after this step, because that would be kind of gross if you did anything else after this and didn't wash your hands. All right, so there we go. That one's looking good. And we'll put another layer on there. I only got one layer left. It looks like we've got a little bit of excess hamburger, which I know somebody's not gonna mind having a little excess hamburger. Ain't that right, Hope? Same thing. We put it right in the middle there. And we put our last one down there. Not technically, we absolutely can do this. Yeah, we gotta wash it all anyway. So I put this on the top and we got our thingamajiggy. I'm gonna go wash my hands and then I'm gonna edit this part out. Actually, I'll leave it in there. Just show you how long it takes to wash your hands. And you really want to wash your hands good after this, because hamburger and egg are like two things that you don't want to mess with on the raw. You get the salmonella, the E. coli, a blend of the two. I always try to stress kitchen safety in the show. All right, so we're done washing our hands. I'm gonna take the cap of this thing. I'm not gonna press that top one because that's just a snack for Hope. We seal it, and then we fridge it. So look at that, a nice layer of burgers. We'll put them right in the fridge. So we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna clean up the little bit of mess that we made. I'll come back in a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and get some of these buns out, get some slices of cheese ready. Our pickles, I don't like to put pickle on the burger. I like to eat a pickle on the side of the burger as I'm eating the burger, like the way you do a deli sandwich. So we'll be back here in just a minute. All right, we're back again. So we've got the grill set up, the indoor grill. I did have to turn the fan in because otherwise it would get a little bit smoky in here. We've got our refrigerated hamburger meat ready to roll. We've got a plate here. So what I'm gonna do while this is heating up, and it's heating up right quick, I'm gonna go ahead and do just like what I said I was gonna do. We take off the top, and we got Hope's Burger right here on the top, so we're gonna go ahead and get that one off. And this is what we're gonna use to baseline and test everything. So here we go. We're gonna put her on there, and you hear that nice sizzling. We're taking the caps off of our salt and pepper. And we're just gonna sit them to the side because we're gonna need them. We'll go ahead and we put a nice little bit of salt on there. Put a nice little bit of pepper on there. And we squash it. Uh-oh. We squashed it too good. There we go. Unfortunately, I put it back on the same side that we just cooked. So now one thing about cooking like this is really lean meat, so you're not gonna get a lot of fat. But again, we're set up with our little hole, so as the fat's kind of starting to come up from the meat, you just kind of guide it to the hole. So we're gonna go ahead and flip it. Now again, this is Hope's Burger. She likes it very rare. I'm gonna go ahead and get a plate for her, have her burger. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, this smells phenomenal, and all it is just some good high quality meat. I'll put a little more salt on this side. We'll put a little bit more pepper on that side. Now, one thing to watch for when you're making these burgers, you want to see that blood, that red juice start to come back up through the top, and that's when you're supposed to flip it. I am not following my general guidelines on this because this is Hope's Burger. So we pull out our thing, and I can already see a little bit of that juice starting to come up, and I'm going to bring you over for just a second so you can see what I see. But you look on the edge there, you see that juice, you see a little bit of juice coming up there. It's just going to start to boil up on the burger. And I think my salt and pepper shakers are in the way, so we'll move them out the way so you can kind of see what's going on the grill. And move it a little closer. There we go. Now we got a good view. So, like I said, we're waiting for it to boil up. It's on low heat. It's not cooking fast to burn it. I didn't put any Pam or anything on it because the grease from the burger is all you really need to be able to flip this sucker. So I'm starting to see it boiling up a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and flip it. And we're gonna mash it. So this is the perfect size. Actually, this is the perfect size burger for a slider. We're gonna go ahead and get a bun ready for Hope. She gets a bun and she gets a burger. And we'll give her a little bit of cheese too. It's one of them crazy things where the dog gets to eat first. So while that meat is cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and we'll get our first set of rolls ready. We'll go ahead and plug in our Foreman grill and let it get heating up. It does not take that long. Hope is nearby to sleep. We'll go ahead and get us some cheese. I could have swore I'd opened this cheese. I guess I had not opened this cheese. And we're gonna sit us some fresh cheddar cheese up on the top here for Miss Hope, who gets the honorary first burger for some reason, I don't know. But I kind of want the burger for myself, but you know, So it is bleeding up on the other side. Now before we started, I did wipe down my surfaces. I've actually got my dishwater ready to go over there. We're gonna get a serrated knife for cutting. Now you get back, Hope. Not yet, not yet. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it in this roll and get it in a nice half, nice and easy. We'll sit her here on our thing. Get this one ready. We'll sit it here on our thing. We'll get another plate out for the finished product as we're coming along. The burger is looking sharp. It's bleeding up again. We're gonna flip it one more time. Oh yeah, that looks good. It sounds good, it looks good, and you know what? It's time for our first burgers to come off the plate. So I'm just gonna sit our Foreman grill back down there. We got a couple of buns ready. Now it's gonna do that. Don't let it scare you. We're gonna bring it off. We're gonna sit it here. And despite me saying it's Hope's burger, it is very, very tempting for me to have at this burger. So we better make another one really quick. I'm gonna let that sit there and give it a minute for that cheese to melt. We'll go ahead and get our second burger here ready. Now when you do this right, they just stick together really nicely on there. And all you gotta do is just kind of, there we go. Now we got our second one going. You got a nice beautiful patty on there. And we're gonna do this one right. But first we're gonna put our salt and pepper on there. Ooh. Some salt and pepper. Now right now we have very little grease, which is good. Go ahead and get a second burger going here. I should have put this a little bit more to the side, but now I gotta wait for it to brown up on the other side. Oh, it's so tempting. So tempting. I'm gonna put this in there and we'll go ahead and get that cheese melted. Even though we already cooked it, I'm gonna just let it sit in there a little bit longer for that cheese to melt. And we're just gonna let this one cook the right way. Let me see if I can slide it a little bit. Oh yeah, she's sliding. So let's get this one on there too. I'm telling you, the egg is the secret to making these burgers slide right off of the plastic. We'll salt and pepper that one. Now that I'm looking at it, I probably did make these burgers a little bit too big, but they will shrink. Let's go ahead and get Hope's burger off because it is perfection. Absolute perfection. Let me let you get a close-up of Hope's burger. We're gonna have to let it cool off a little bit. Look at that. Golden brown, baked on the top. The cheese is melting a little bit. A nice hunk of burger there. This is looking right. This is looking right. So we're gonna let that rest a little bit because I don't want to burn Hope's mouth on it. We've got these two burgers here cooking. We're gonna let them do their thing. We're just waiting. We're hanging out. We're having a good time. Hope is not as interested as I thought she would be. I'm kind of surprised. Now, one good thing about these copper pans, the Robbie Burger Grilling indoors copper pan that I will sell, custom made. I'll even sign it for you. This saves you a lot of time if you got a greasier hamburger meat. These aren't greasy at all. These are cooking up right nicely. There's no sparking of the grease. There's no flare. I mean, this is perfect. There's not a lot of smoke. So this is perfect for cooking indoors. This is what I will call the poor man's Blackstone grill, or flat, you know, them griddles that you can buy at Lowe's now, the gas-powered griddle. It's pretty much a flat little griddle that you can take and cook outside with. Those work great. I'm not gonna lie, this setup cost me about $7, and it's working just fine. So to those of you that have them, more power to you. I could actually cook up this side. I could cut this side on the gas and start cooking on this side too. Two's of plenty to keep my hands full with. So these are cooking up a little bit longer than that mini burger did. I haven't seen the blood coming up yet, so it's starting to come up a little bit on that one, but we're just gonna let them cook. I cannot help myself. I have got to test the burger to make sure it's not too hot for Hope. So I'm gonna have a bite and we're gonna see what we got. Now this is no mustard, no lettuce, no tomato, no nothing. This is just the burger. That is a tasty burger. Oh my God, that is a tasty burger. Oh, down, Hope, don't touch the grill. You get burned. I'm gonna give you yours. Oh, gracious. Man, this is gonna be so good. I'm gonna put the rest of the toppings on it. Look at that. Just a little bit of pink in the middle. I mean, this is perfectly cooked. Let's see what Hope thinks real quick. We'll turn the camera to her. So, again, you see a little bit of the blood is coming up, but it still needs just a second. We're about ready to flip it. Don't be in a rush. See it? There's your burger. She magically spit the bun out and ate the burger, but now she's eating the bun too, because that bun is delicious. A little bit of a sweet flavor to it. It's delicious. So we're gonna go ahead and flip these. No, we're not. We're gonna wait a second. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and flip them. And we're gonna squish them. Squish them. Get them nice and flat. Now we're talking for real. And we're just gonna usher a little bit of this juice and grease down the hole. Down the hole you go. Down you go. Yep, down you go. The hamburger grease down the hole. Let's go ahead and put a little salt and pepper on this side. Now Hope is interested. Now she's up and walking around like she wants to know what's going on. So I did make these burgers a little bit bigger than they needed to be for these buns. But hey, it don't hurt my feelings to have the bun be a little bit too small for the burger. As long as we have the correct balance, which we will. We will. I'm gonna sit these over here. We'll go ahead and get these cooking. I like to cut them before you put them in there, because if you try to cut them afterward, you're gonna have a good grip and you'll burn yourself if they get hot. Let's sit that one there. Sit that one there. Down goes the cover, and we just let it sit there for a minute. Let them cook. We let them cook. Just keep moving that grease over to the hole. The hole will do the work. Now the good thing about the copper, nothing sticks to it. Everything just slides right off of it. So cleanup is a super cinch. Kind of feel like I'm in an infomercial right now. So again, I'm starting to see that blood come up a little bit on there again. We just want to keep them cooking. I'm going to press them again so they cook kind of. I don't want to have like a ring of cooking around the outside, and I'll show you what I mean in a second when I flip them. But sometimes if you don't press them, it'll cook a ring around the outside of the burger, but the inside kind of buckles up and it doesn't get cooked. You don't get any browning on it. We'll go ahead and get our buns off. Nice golden brown there. Hot buns, hot buns. Yeah, hot buns. We got a few buns ready. You think I'm cooking for 8? I'm cooking for the audience. We'll go ahead and flip. We got a couple of nice looking burgers there. Let's back our bun production up a little bit over here and make some room for another plate, which is gonna be our wait for the other burger to cook, burger plate. So these are done. Let's sit them over there. They'll stay nice and warm. We'll cook a couple more. Oh yeah. You want to get all that char off of there. You don't want to have burnt burnt burger pieces stuck to your new burgers as they start their young life on the grill. Yeah, we're just gonna, there's one. There's 2. Some salt. Some pepper. Notice how I do one at a time. We're not trying to be speedy, we're trying to be efficient. And the longer you let these rest, the better. But we still got a little bit of warmth on this side, which is good. Our George Foreman is saying, more buns, more buns. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Let's get a couple more. I'm gonna go ahead and we'll go to a break until we get the rest of these finished. But you've seen my process, you've seen my tips on the grill, you've seen the fantastic Robbie hamburger grilling copper plate signature dish cooking device firsthand. So if you'd like or be interested in one, just let me know. Like I said, we're gonna go ahead and go to a break and we'll see you when we're putting the final product of the burgers together. So here's our lettuce tomato. There's our burgers. I grabbed some mustard, some pickles, and here's our buns. My demeanor has slightly changed because I have been touched by this meal. These burgers are delicious. I was going to drink unsweet tea, but after tasting these burgers, I have decided to change to Pepsi because they're that good. They are delicious. And I did not want to lack in any of the fields of this meal. So we are unsaran wrapping my lettuce and tomato. We are going to unsheath a bun. We will grab one of the burgers and put it gently upon the bun. At this point, you may detach the top from the bottom, as so. We will take our mustard that I have carefully taken out of the refrigerator when I started to avoid that. I just made a mess, but who cares? We will put just a little bit of mustard on the top. I got some on my finger. I have to clean my palate with some Pepsi. Ah, yes, we are in balance again. 1 piece of lettuce upon the burger. 1 tomato here. 1 tomato there. And that's it. Don't put nothing else on it. Crown thine burger, the king of burgers. Pick it up and enjoy. I'd be lying if I said any of this was going to make it to tomorrow. I would have invited guests, but I am a glutton. I cannot help it. I am shamed of myself, but my kitchen prowess has exceeded my own expectations. This is magnificent. I welcome you to make this at your own home, but this is good. This is good. I hope you try this. I hope you get to enjoy the exact experience that I have just partaken in, because I know in my heart of hearts that you will enjoy this meal. So I am signing out to enjoy the rest of my meal, and we will see you all later. Thanks again for joining us on Cooking with Robbie.